Hoggin' and Froggin'.
Only shooting stars break the mold.
Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing with Helga, Skittish, Seer. She taps for mana and taps for more mana based on her power, but you can only spend the mana she generates on creatures that cost 4 or more mana or have X in their cost, making her great with things like the Goose Mother and Guild Vein Hydra. But not only does she generate mana and grow and grow and grow, she also draws you cards and gains you life when you cast those spells, which means that Helga really is a Bant engine all on her own, kind of like Tulane. The ideal way to play this deck is turn 1, you play a mana dork that ramps. Turn 2, you play Helga, and turn 3, you have enough mana for something that costs 5 mana, which also will draw you a card and gain you a life. Helga is also really good with untap effects. Things like, where is she? The Kiora here, who coincidentally also draws you a card when something with a power 4 or greater enters the battlefield. And now, this is mana value 4, this is power 4, but high-powered creatures play great in this deck, and that's why this deck is almost entirely green, because it helps us ramp, it helps us draw even more cards, and it's really fun to play cards like Goreclaw, Terror of Kalsisma, or the Fanatic of Ronus that gives you tons and tons of mana if you have really powerful creatures. You can even put cards like Selvala in this deck, and I actually have a different Selvala in this deck. This one, because it costs 4 mana and it makes lots of little creatures, and it's really fun with Helga because those little creatures can increase Helga's power, allowing her to tap for more mana, so you can play big, chunky spells with only tapping Helga. It's also worth mentioning that if you pay an alternate cost for a spell that is less than 4, but the creature still has a mana value of 4, Helga still draws you a card and gains you a life and gets a +1/+1 counter. So yes, if Galta costs 2 mana, she still sees it, it still counts. If you evoke out a Null Drifter or a Mull Drifter, even if you're only paying 3 mana, it still counts for Helga. Something else that's really fun with Helga is being able to use her ability with things that get you more +1/+1 counters on her, like the Kami of Whispered Hopes, which is a scales effect, or Innkeeper's Talent, which just puts a +1/+1 counter on Helga, or any other creature you happen to have. And because we're also in blue and white, yes, we're not actually a mono-green deck, you can run things like Teferi's Protection, Memory Lapse, Mana Drain, Source of Power, Wash Away, and even some creatures in these colors that are a really nice way to both trigger Helga and protect your board. So we're going to take Helga into the queue, and we're going to hop right over our opponent's boards. Oh, it's another Helga, Skittish Seer. This hand is okay. We have the Fanatic of Ronus into a Beast Whisperer for turn 2. Even though that's not a Helga that's growing and growing and growing, I think it's a pretty dang good start. They hopefully don't just have a 1 mana dork on turn 1, because that's the best start you can have in this deck. Turn 1, you ramp. Turn 2, you play Helga. Turn 3, you play a 5-drop. I guess I'll start with the Turn Timber Symbiosis, since I don't really want to pay 3 life. Here comes the Fanatic. Only tapping for 1 green for now. On a Shaman. Oh, they tutor for specific things. I wonder if they're going for combos, which I should mention. You can do combos in this deck. In fact, some of the bigger, better, more nasty combos you can do in this deck involve cards like, well, Paradox Engine. Yeah, Paradox Engine works, unfortunately, really well with Helga. And I don't like that. But I do like getting to play against another person who's playing a cool deck like ours. How much mana will I have here, and how do I want to use it? I'm gonna grab another green source. I'm gonna bring out Goreclaw. Goreclaw very much has a power of 4 or more. Draw a card. Helga grows. And now these get discounts. Blooming Cactus Folk. Into Railway Brawler. Cool. I have some creatures in play. And now the remaining creatures in my hand, or I guess just spells in my hand, cost 1 less. It's a good turn. Paradox Engine does kind of combo with a Stiff Breeze. I am going to hope that they don't just combo here, but if they do, they do. No. Okay, so no intruder alarm, no paradox engine, just a railway brawler. You know, just a couple of gals playing their railway brawlers. Cool. End race Forerunner. I am gonna tap the Fanatic of Ronus for this. This is going to make Helga even bigger once this gets its enter the battlefield trigger. And it should give me lethal off the railway brawler, giving me the big old buffins. Because +2/+2 vigilance and trample on what is actually a 14/14 is a lot of damage. GG, Helga. The infamous Cruel Claw. And oh, what a cruel commander it can be. Hitting you in the face for 3 and then casting a spell for free. I think that this Weasel is the sort of spell that you should fear. And you shouldn't keep a hand against Cruel Claw if you don't have anything that you can play early. Because they will be playing Cruel Claw. Maybe giving him haste and maybe kicking your butt. I will play Gwenna here so I have access to more mana and different colors of mana. I might use the Witch Enchanter. Get rid of the boots. But with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana next turn, Shuriken Goreclaw definitely gonna be my pick. Okay, never mind, I don't have that much mana. The Witch Enchanter does trigger Helga, though. It would be nice to get to play it. So they've killed my creatures. A bolt, a push. So this is the version of Cruel Claw that is playing lots of little pieces of interaction. And then, hopefully, when it hits you, either by tutoring and putting a card on top of your deck, or by just luck at a draw, you cast something big and awesome for free. Or just more interaction, because it tends to be good. Alright, poor Helga is dead. I'd love to get to use this to, like, get rid of the boots, but I need to play this as a land because all my ramp got destroyed! Crack open that Prismatic Vista, throw those boots on the Weasel, and we'll see what they get for free. Scoff for life, are you gonna pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up? I'm hoping that it's, yeah, creature removal that has no targets. So, Sheoldred's Edict! Guess what? I have nothing. You killed everything I had. I'm playing Vorinclex because I would like to have lands, please and thank you. And I will get land and probably just another land that I can shock in. I'm looking at my mana distribution. It's all green stuff. Honestly, Helga, she's a green deck. I can't block. You have Menace. 4 damage on my face, and I get to cast another spell for free. No Ulamogs, no Emrakuls, nothing big. There we go. See that? That is an Abrade. The more little interaction you play versus big spells, the less you can do with it. I'm actually surprised they didn't still cast it for free, just like dealing 3 damage for Vorinclex. I feel like there's very little reason not to. Shuriken Goreclaw, so I can double block. It might just draw removal for one of them. Shuriken Goreclaw can give Helga haste, which is really nice so she can tap for mana right away. Is it free? Oh, that's true. You have to discard a card. So they didn't have, like, another piece of removal to follow up with. That's why they wouldn't. Okay, Toxic Deluge. Do you want to kill all the creatures in play and pay 6 life? They do. That haste enabler, Shuriken Goreclaw, I think is the reason you gotta get rid of it. They can replay the infamous Cruel Claw next turn. They can haste it out if we don't destroy the boots, so we do destroy the boots. There are no boots. We're also going to make a Rhino. Destroy this. Two buddies. Helga. Yay, Helga. I'm gonna shock this in so I have access to Otawara. Because my plan is not to double block Cruel Claw, it's to bounce Cruel Claw back into hands. Stop killing her! Okay, fine, Cruel Claw. You want to cast a spell for free? From the top of your deck? Well, then I'm going to put it right back where it came from, which is the top of your deck. I think they might want to target something that doesn't kill them, actually. Sure. Good game. Victorious Canned. What can he do? He can cast spells from exile, and whenever you do, you end up dealing 2 damage to your opponent and gaining 2 life. This is sometimes a Boros control deck, and sometimes it's themed around casting spells from exile. I've seen both decks out in the wild before, so we'll see by playing against them. This hand's really, really nice. We have this Abyssin's Pilgrim for turn 1, which means a turn 2 Helga, which also means, potentially on turn 3, we can tap her twice using Kiora. Land attacks. Okay, well you did go first, but I probably have some land-based ramp, like Puck. This makes me think that they're gonna be control. Here's Helga. Is Helga the good frog versus Glarb the evil frog? In this story, yes. Helga is the one whose village is destroyed by Maha, and she helps gather up the party, which ends up being like Mabel and Phineas and all the other ones, to go confront Glarb. Also to just solve the issue of what's going on. Okay, that is twice the taxes. Well, at least Helga came out on turn 2. Ugh, gross. I think if we just go for Hawk here, or if I save it for a turn, because I can also just do like Provisioner into Signet. Because I kind of expect board wipes here. I want the Selesnya. Alright. There's Kiora, and I'm swinging again. This way, I have not triggered their land tax. Yeah, they're playing Boros Hater cards. There we go. That's a spell that cares about casting from exile. Now, without knowing if I would get a piece for that, figured this would work out. Twice the hedge, twice the fun, and this will trigger land tax. Shall I? Okay. And I could play the Kami of Whispered Hopes here to get more mana, but I think the right thing to do is Teferi's Protection. I'm actually going to do this now. And for anybody wondering, why am I doing it now? Why not wait until they're attacking or anything else? The answer is, land tax doesn't target because I don't have any lands. I don't have anything. I'm actually not even here. Like, who's the Amazonian? Helga? Never heard of her. There's nobody on this battlefield. Not a single player. Okay, well, there's a single player, but there isn't a second player. Ooh, Pyromaster. Dave, do you ever feel like really justified? Really justified in making yourself disappear from existence? You love watching a stream with nobody on it. Yeah. This is just like a blank window. Am I standing? I am standing. Let's get them more impulse draws. Or they could just plus to bring her loyalty a little higher. Nope, you got Sacred Foundry. I take none damage. I'll play the Kami of Whispered Hopes first. Give myself some hexproof. Did not get quite the spicy goodies that I was hoping for. Kyora's also disappointed in me. Let's go for 2 Hallowed Fountains. Okay, Helga's getting chunky. I'll swing at Chandra. And they will definitely be getting land tax next turn.
It's over when I say it's over.
Yeah, I feel like I actually should have probably played the Brushland here so I could pump things up with Shalai. But this is fine. Just gotta hit a chain of big boys all in a row. We were doing tax evasion. A little. Not a lot, just a little. Tiny bit, itty bit, tiny itty bitty bit. The best gamer chair is my feet. Yeah, I like to stand sometimes when I'm recording because it helps my energy stay up. I don't know, something about playing video games all day sometimes makes you slightly sleepy. Ooh, no, not Chandra! Chandra means that they could just, like, blast Shalai off this board. They even have enough mana for Craig first. Iron Craig. Oh, they're actually going for hit the mother load. Get lost. Alright. Bye, Shalai. Shalai is getting exploded since she's the only valid target. But these map tokens could mean... By the way, since I hit a 2-drop, they have 8 treasures for next turn. Since I have these maps, I might be able to make Helga or the Kami of Whispered Hopes extra huge. And Kiora will be alive at the start of the turn unless they find a way to get a little bit more damage in off of their current cards. Alright, so... They left this back. We did not get a creature. Did not get a creature? Oh, man. All right, 2 Restless Vine Stalks. But first, I'll beef up Helga a wee bit. That is just a land. Let's beef up Helga a wee bit. See, Primeval Titan, if we had had that, that would be beautiful to have. Just gorgeous. Would have loved it. You know what? I have so much mana, maybe I'll even make a food. See this? I'm hungry. This is me slurping. Oh, Kronos, thank you for gifting a sub to Wobbler. So they know what I have on top. They know it's Primeval Titan. Can you hit Planeswalkers or just opponent? Okay, it's just to each opponent. As a reminder, the 9 treasures, they are real and they can hurt me. So they have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, that's a lot. Are there any forced shuffles? There are. Okay, so there's a board wipe. My board is definitely more established than theirs creatures-wise. So they could Bonehorde Dragosaur, slam into Kiora, wipe the board. And I do have a multicolored creature. Her name is Helga, and she's wonderful. We love her. Cantorius! You may as well get that extra value off the depopulate. 2 damage to my face, and 2 life gained is pretty good business. I wonder what card I will draw. Oh my goodness. Primeval Titan. What a surprise. It's like we knew you were there. At this moment, I do also have 10 damage from the 2 Restless Vine Stalks. But they definitely could have a lot of single target removal, and they can also use either this to make a chump blocker or this to make this. Oh, okay. Chandra, Torch of Defiance. Gets you even more impulse draw. I know. Poor Helga. Lit a flame. Blasted. They got a land. You have too many lands, even with that land tax. Yeah, right now, like, I don't have a way to kill them. Bringing them to 1 is not killing them. But killing some of these planeswalkers is probably worth it. Plus or minus. Oh, they're playing another Chandra. Keep on casting things from exile, okay. Nice lightning helix! You don't have the mana to play it. It'll still deal 2 damage to my face, right? Oh no, this is the other Chandra. This is the Chandra that redirects damage if we pop it. So this prevents 2 damage. Striking Gorklaw. Alright, so I was going to do this with the lands, but this is a Shuriken Goreclaw. So, Shuriken Goreclaw gives my other creatures haste. Thank you, Kiora, you're wonderful. We already have a land in hand, so we can do this. We'll draw a whole bunch of cards, gain some life, blah, 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 blah. Nice. Roaming Throne. Love a good Roaming Throne. Roaming and throning. So remember all those treasures they had? Those were cool, right? But he used them all on Chandras. Shifting Woodland. And Swift Heath. I'm gonna go for Kentorius or this Chandra. Get 2 more. Want ones that come in tapped. Specifically this creature land. And I already have the Surveil land, so we're gonna grab the Scry land here. I'll name green. And I will Scry. Bonnie! Love Bonnie. Alright, so they can make additional mana. They have 2 different impulse draws if they would like it. A 3rd off this Valakut. And if they attack Kiora, we let it happen. Because blocking with the Shuriken Goreclaw leaves me open to a lot more types of removal off of this Chandra. But I've got the creature lands, which should be able to end the game. Should. Maybe not, but like, fingers crossed. Geological Appraiser is going to make it so if they get this to enter the battlefield, they will discover. But only if they cast it, because balance. I also made this cost 5. I want to say this cost 4 before. They rebalanced a bunch of Discover cards so you couldn't chain them together as well, and like Historic. There's nothing wrong with an Oops All Chandras deck. Oops All Chandras is pretty great. Yeah, because you could go like Kentorius discovering into it. Oh, Doomscar. Alright, the creatures are blasted. We know all but 2 cards in their hand. Do I just go for it? One for 5, 1 for 6. Go for face. win the game. Fetching those creature lands definitely worked out. GG, Contorius. Satya, Aetherflux, genius! Makes copies of your creatures, banks up some energy, and then keeps those creatures around as, you know, a special little someone that you can get value out of. Satya's really good with strong enter the battlefield effects, and also just generally very strong, because Satya just needs to attack in to get the copies, and can copy things that remove things. Satya is oftentimes just unblockable and very, very hard to deal with. I have an okay start here, though. I have either removal, a way to buff up Helga, and then I have Goreclaw and Nylea, 2 double discounters that will both draw cards off Helga. Kind of the dream here. Kind of the dream. Thundering Falls, Polluted Delta. They could also, by the way, just be playing lots of control spells. I have definitely run into Satyas before that were like, I'm countering, I'm countering, I'm countering, I'm countering, and I'm countering things. And I'm just sitting here like, please stop countering my stuff. Good. Innkeeper's Talent stuck around. Innkeeper's Talent is here to grow Helga, getting me more mana from her, and also eventually protecting her once I get to level 2 of innkeeping. Oh, they're roaming and throning. Going to name humans here so they get twice the triggers. I can Swords to Plowshares, the Roaming Throne. You know what? We respect the Roaming Throne in this household. Your throne may roam. Don't hurt Helga. Just make a couple thrones. I'm fine with this. Will I be attacked by a small army of chairs? Yes. Is it going to do a lot of damage? Also yes. Am I going to try to unload an obscene number of things into play next turn? Also yes. I can't, it's my beautiful child. So they can choose to keep one of these roaming thrones alive. And the more of these they have, the more it's going to do the thing. You know, the thing. We're going to first go to combat. Thank you. Helga is now extra, extra large. Goreclaw! Goreclaw's gonna give me a double discount. Nylea! Ah, darn. I was hoping to keep going, but we didn't. And I also didn't get a white source at the end there. I should have played that Dream Root Cascade in the middle. Oh, nice clone. So I could get rid of Satya. So they're going to, small army of Satya and chairs. Yeah, I should have left open the white there. Playing the land first. It's a normal number of chairs. And men who sit in chairs. Okay. Each one's just like naming stuff at this point. Just random things. GG Satya. Thorline Cosmos Caller. This is a Bats commander, gaining you life when bats attack in, and allowing you to reanimate your small creatures by paying 2 mana. This hand does not have turn 1 ramp, it has turn 2 ramp, then a bunch of big boys. I do love having Tulane though, but I'm going to look a little bit more. I think this is going to be better. We have this Scry on turn 1. I'm going to use this to try to find something blue. Henge? Just cool. Not what I want right now. And my ideal start is always going to be turn 1 ramp, turn 2 Helga, turn 3 5-drop. Or like a 4-drop. As long as it triggers Helga, it's good. Oh no! They have tithed my cool rock that I found on the ground. Zorline, that was rude. What else are you taxing? Of this hand, I think Beast Whisperer is the one I would go for. Okay, so the reason I wouldn't go for that, I'm about to demonstrate, is because I'm still able to play it as a land. If you have something from this, it gets taxed if you cast it, but not if you play it. Food stink. Oh my gosh, if you like, in order to play a land, you have to pay 2 mana. No, no, don't give blue decks ideas. Aww. They gave Helga a horrible task. Out here doing Atlas things. Beast Whisperer for card draw. Helga's going to do a really cool, just like, carry that rock while they steal from us. Do you have any bats in your bats deck? Or, like, reanimatables? I guess it can be non-land permanents. It could be exiling things. Oh no, because she's just a little guy? You're so right. That's not a giant rock. She's holding like a pebble. Hey, that's my Selvala. Excuse me, that's my Selvala. You can't have that. That's mine. Okay, well now it's nobody's. Mana Confluence in a 2-color deck, but it makes sense. I don't know. I don't think that they're going to be based around the gaining and losing life. Based on the cards I've seen so far, this is just kind of Orzhov tempo? Oh my gosh, look! Creature that can be sacrificed. Like, I would have thought it would be more Orzhov sacrificey. I'm going to do something kind of cutesy here. So Mythweaver Paw, if you play one of these 2-sided lands, makes a copy of it as a creature. Free my frog! Ha ha ha! Freedom! Freedom for froggies! My frog is going to live forever! Restoration of Iganja will get them a land. 3 mana, 12/12. Yeah, and it drew me a card too because Helga's rad like that. Oh, and gave me a life. Okay, well now Galtha's in exile. I think that just ends the game. So... Oof! There it is. GG, Zoraline. Rankle, Pitiless Trickster. This is the Rankle that gets bigger perpetually whenever a player, either you or your opponent, discards a card. And when he enters the battlefield, he can make it so both players discard a card and sacrifice a creature, meaning that I expect to see a bunch of discard spells and sacrificeable creatures in this deck. Though I'm not entirely actually sure how this deck was built because I haven't run into too many Rankles. There's a beautiful, exquisitely sacrificeable creature. The sort of creature that absolutely could get turned into a -1/-1 until end of turn, or a treasure token upon sacrifice. So I'm going to make sure I have a creature in play. Oh, that is a Priest of Forgotten Gods. Yes, it is. I'd love to play Helga here, but I don't think it's the right move. Are you target player? Each player, she targets, by the way. She targets players. Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead and scooch that out of the way. Apparently that was the right thing to do, because they didn't like it. Balin the Haymaker. Balin is going to be making tokens, and tokens, then tapping those tokens for all sorts of goodies. This hand is not as much land as I would like, but I don't think it's bad, especially not without having, like, we have a way to untap things, we have Tishana's Tidebender. I have some of the cards that I would like at the start of the game against Balin. Balin, by the way, Naya tokens. Naya tokens like mad, because unlike most tokens decks, this one actually gives you card draw, which is something you don't usually get in a tokens deck. We've been getting more and more of it, but oh my gosh. Balin is just beefing up your creatures, drawing cards, and making mana. So many things to do. Oh, Dr. Nick, thank you for the 51-month resub. saying 51, which is 5 plus 1, which is 6. Wow, you've been subbed for at least 6 months. The math checks out. A charming scoundrel. Ooh. Would you like to make a treasure token? That's very tappable. Making a wicked roll token is also funny because there's no downside to tapping it. I'm gonna play the Helga and just like hope she doesn't get killed, since they can play some pieces of removal. There's room for them in the deck. This does die to a lightning bolt. Alright, it's Balin time. There's only 1 token so far, though. Alright, I would like to cast something to trigger Helga. So I'm going to tap you for green. I'm gonna go 1, a 2, a 3, a crunch on this Goose Mother. Goose Mama! Get myself a couple of food. Oh, it beefs itself up. I'm sorry. 3 plus 1 plus 1 counters on Balin. I'm not blocking. I'm not sure what they have, but I want to get the card draw off the Goose Mother because I didn't get a land here. Oh, Harry Dronesmith. Makes a drone at the start of each turn. We're going to start with Inga and Essica because it's going to give my creatures vigilance and the ability to get me extra mana. Swinging in with these guys. Eating a food. Food. Nice. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana to cast a big creature here. I have any big creatures I can cast here? I do not. I also have a food token. Alright, I'll just play the tapped land. Yeah, I don't have any of the big boys that cost just 4 mana. Or 5. I have one that costs 6. But now I have additional card draw. So the first game I played with Helga, I actually drew so many cards that the first change I made to the deck was adding a Reliquary Tower. Because sometimes you get silly. I will block with this right here. I'll let the Dronesmith go through. Part of it's just I don't know what they have. They didn't tap these 2 or anything. Oh, Roxanne. So they wanted to throw a rock. Okay, that's fine. Hey, why is Balin in the graveyard? Hey, opponent. Why is Balin in the graveyard? I'm like asking. Just out of professional curiosity. You want to trade? Oh, you want to throw a rock at my Kami of Whispered Hopes? I'm trying to set up for I would believe will be lethal next turn. I might have some way to bring this back from the grave. Straight from the top of Count Fuji. Thopter. It's thoppin'! Yeah, there's a lot of like great return a creature to cost 3 or less. Henge. Yes, we're good. Okay, Delta. Yes, we're good. Any Flash. That's how they're gonna bring it back. Okay, you know what? I think you need more tokens. Triggers. Yeah. Galta with haste. Don't even need the Craterhoof Behemoth. Or the, like, 20 mana Helga's going to produce. GG. Samwise Gamgee. This Sam is very often a combo commander, doing things that allow you to repeatedly recur creatures from your graveyard by sacrificing food. And I'm not sure if any of the new food cards make it into Sam's deck, but we did just get a bunch of food in Bloomburrow. Alright, I got a bit of turn 1 ramp, so let's go for it. Birds of Paradise. Pretty birdie. I can play Helga on turn 2 at the cost of some life, so we do that. I don't expect them to have a ton of removal, but they definitely will have some spot removal. Swords to Plowshares, probably Get Lost, and a few other ones too. Mox Amber, allowing them to cast something that costs 1 mana once they've already got Sam out. Yes, Sam decks can be fairly driven combo decks. So if you're wondering, like, oh, why does mine tend to have fairly hard matchmaking? That is why. All right, Loran's going to destroy the Signet. That's okay. I have something I can cast next turn. It's just my lands for this turn had come in tapped. That's why it didn't go. Yeah, they're going to have lots of legends because it can recur legends. Our Chasm. No, I would like you to do this. Thank you. Ooh, monkey. Oh, did they not use up all their mana? That's what the oops was? That sounds right. Wicked Wolf. Nice. So that's some food synergy. It looks like they are munching up Helga. Bye, Helga. But this is tapped, so it won't be able to block Chasm. Thank you for the card draw. Guess we just find out what we get off Chasm. This will deal combat damage and get me a land and a creature. Which land and creature? East Whisper, Vorinclex. Alright, Hallowed Fountain, Branch Loft. I feel like I don't need more card draw. Go for Vorinclex. And I have enough mana for Helga again. But I kind of want to hold up this Wash Away. It's, no, I want my commander. Getting to actually play my cards is fun. Throw that land in the graveyard. Don't need it. I do have Otawara here to interrupt the combo, as we have triple legends. Birds of Paradise keeps up Wash Away, but only for something that's being cast from outside of their hand. Okay, Relic of Legends. That could be part of their combo. Rosy Cat. Gonna make some food to get some counters on stuff. Big Buppy. Bigger Buppy. One very large dog that can become indestructible. And also fights things, so if I bounce it back into hand, it can become indestructible. Okay, wait, that hits Chasm or Vorinclex? I'm saving our Chasm. Any stolen cards will return to their owners. Not that I think they have any here. Okay, so if I hoof, that might actually just be lethal. Let's see, so they can prevent 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. Yep. And then 16 still goes through. Or we could tap you for 6 mana. GG, Sam. Tywakeen, perfect shot. Tywakeen is actually a very cool and strong commander, which I'm surprised we don't see more often. I fairly recently actually built Tywakeen, and I was surprised to see, first of all, how few people were like, wow, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, I can't wait to play this deck. And how few people were like, yeah, I already have a Tywakeen. They just don't. People aren't playing Tywakeen. Hey, Voxy, thank you so much for the raid, and welcome, Raiders! We actually just played against a Cruel Claw deck. It's like you had visited us before you even visited us. I'm going to keep this wash away here, since they might be going for Tywakeen on turn 2. Tywakeen increases damage dealt, which means she can deal a lot of damage off burn spells just by tapping. Kiora, Behemoth Beckoner. I will untap that blue source, making it kind of obvious that I have a 1-mana counter for their commander. But still, it's important to have the thing open. See? Oh, also Generous Plunder deals damage to my face if they attack me. Pretty rad. Pretty rad. Thank you so much, Foxy, for the raid. There are so many shaking weasels in my chat right now. There's just so many of them.
Match you drop for drop.
Giver of Runes to help protect Tywakeen. Tywakeen. They can afford to play it again next turn. We counter it. Ooh, Inga and Essica. That could actually be a lot of fun to throw down while I have Kiora in hand. Or in play. It'll draw me a card. Also just like a nice vigilant creature. I can untap here. There's nothing I want to cast for 2, though. We are brawling. Currently throwing together a bit of a Helga video for the friends over on YouTube. That's why I'm talking in YouTube voice. Chat says, bye, Joaquin. Aww, she's walking here.
Got that sinking feeling again.
Tywakeen's also interesting in that it gives you card draw in Boros. There's very few things that do that. I'll swing in with Inga and Essica. I don't think they'll use up the Giver of Runes here. If they did, you know I'd be eyeing this Thorn Mammoth. Alright, Inga and Essica. We're gonna start with this Gore Claw. Because you're mana of any color, right? Yeah. If we manage to spend 3 mana from our creatures. Extra tasty. Railway Brawler or Monkey? Helga's like, am I gonna be a part of this game? Maybe later. Shush, Helga. The adults are talking. Where's my lands? The adults are talking and they're saying, hey, where's my mana? Kiora will die. Thank you for the treasure, Generous Plunderer. If they increase the damage dealt before they attack in with the Generous Plunderer, they can just deal extra damage to my face. That robot's kind of a land. It's a tapped land. Next turn, that costs 4 mana. Emphasis on kind of. Alright, so X equals 3 means that any non-combat damage is being increased by 3. Now, if they have something here that would deal 1 damage to all of my creatures, suddenly, that's 4 damage. Like that. The monkey's still alive, though. You wouldn't bolt a monkey, would you? Oh. Bolton the monkey. What a shame. And there goes Kiora off the battlefield. All of my efforts were in vain. Gold vein? Maybe. I don't mind getting a second blue source out, even though right now we're all kind of all in on green. If I play her, she's just gonna die. So I think we gotta go for, let's say some large fellas. I think that even, like, plotting there wouldn't be terrible. At least Helga is safe. She's safe in the command zone where she won't die to a deck that's almost entirely removal. I just need one more mana, and then, like, we can Thorn Mammoth the Giver, so they can't protect her. And then we play a second creature, and then we go bap, 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 bap. Helga is our friend. Pondering? Are you pondering what I'm pondering? They're probably doing some combat math. There's some really weird math that can happen in this deck. Well, while they're doing that, I'm gonna open up this comic on my phone. Aww. At least I gained life. At least I gained life. Oh, hey, Urabrask. Okay, I did get a land. Land? Mammoth. You know what is non-combat damage, by the way? These fights. So they actually could control some of this fight damage. But oddly enough, Tywakeen works on any source they control. Which means that, like, yeah, they're creatures. They're dealing non-combat damage. Alright, so that they can increase things by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which means that if they attack it, that would be dealing 6 damage directly to my face. They can't protect these as well anymore. If they cast 3 spells in a turn also, this can go nuts. Especially if they're increasing damage. Like, if they increase by 3 and cast 3 spells, that's so much damage to my face. Alright, Kesed Flame Breather. So these are more pings whenever they're casting instants and sorcerers, or just any non-creature spell. By the way, if you have not played with Tywakeen yet, I'll recommend my video. This person might be playing a very similar build to my own. So, just take a look. It's a really cool card. Alright, so they went for 3. That is a 3 damage, 3 damage. They have 2 floating mana. Attacking in, that's going to be another 4. And then 2 from the actual combat. Alright, Helga. We're going to fight Tywakeen. Gaining the light also sounds nice. Grab a basic. I am going to fight the Kesed Flame Breather next. And using this Hinterland Harbor, I'm going to cast the Goldvein Hydra for X equals 0. It enters the battlefield, immediately dies, but lets me kill the Urabrask. I'm just afraid of them being able to flip this and just ending the game next turn. So, there's no more Thorn Mammoth in play, and that's okay. It killed a lot of stuff. What's my favorite card in Bloomburrow? I'm kind of a sucker for raccoons. I wish Bella was in Arena. see what we draw next turn, too. Assuming Helga or the Solemn Simulacrum is still alive. If they attack in with a Plunder, I'll just double block it. A Scalding Tarn. Grabbing the Gate to Tumble Down. That does come in tapped, but we'll give them some cards later in the game. With no legends, Mox Amber's not tapping for any mana here. Unruly Catapult. That's another ping for instants and sorceries. Also pretty good at blocking. Alright, Generous Plunderer. Do you want to attack in? I have 2 artifacts, so it will deal extra damage. But you will also die. No, okay, they're gonna save it. Oh, Selvala, sweet! I'm gonna play the Kami first, even though this means fewer creatures, because I want to get more counters on Helga, because if we draw a big creature here... Dang, I didn't. I would have been able to cast it. I'll swing in with the Solemn Simulacrum. They can just block with the Unruly Catapult, but I figure, hey, you know what? I'll offer you a trade in these trying times. Yeah, now Helga... She's bigger. She's better at blocking, and that's great. I'm still a little worried about them, like, doing stormy stuff here, because, like, they attack in. That's 3 damage. That's 4 damage. Things happen. I have a pretty decent amount of mana off all these treasures. Helga found some self-esteem. Wow, it's just like the story! Where she ends up moving into Helga ends up moving into Mabel's village. With their weird corrupt mayor and stuff. Okay, he's not corrupt in the story, I just think he's corrupt. Oh, sweet, Iganjo Uprising. I forgot that's even a spell. So these all have Menace, they all have Haste, and it's untapped. We're taking 3 damage. And we block, and we block, and we... block, and we block, and we block, and we block, and they still deal 6! And they still deal 6 to us! Truly a tragedy. If only we had drawn another big boy and gained but a singular life. Actually, that'd still be dead to the catapult. He's not corrupt, he's just a busybody. The worst kind of politicians. GG, Tywikeen. Rakdos, the muscle. Rakdos sacrifices things and then steals cards from your opponent or just impulse draws from your own deck, allowing you to play those cards until end of turn. You can also sacrifice your own creatures to his abilities in order to, well, make him indestructible, because he's a big flying demon and, well, sometimes you just want to kill everything in play, except for him. It's also a great way to blank removal. Not that we have many destructive spells in this deck. It would be able to take out Rakdos. I have a Swords to Plowshares, but Indestructible doesn't stop exile. This hand's okay. I have turn 2 ramp. I'd rather have turn 1 ramp. I have Beseiju, which we could use to destroy some sort of artifact or enchantment. And then, ideally, are ramping right into our Chasm. Ooh, okay, Putrid Goblin. This has Persist, which means that if they get something in play that allows this to come back with a counter on it, +1/+1 counter, it will just kind of keep coming back over and over and over, allowing them to sacrifice it repeatedly to either mill me with Rakdos or get a ton of card advantage. I have 4 mana. I'm trying to decide if I want to go for Helga or a big old goose. I don't think I need the card advantage right now here. I think it's going to be better for me to play this goose, so the Fanatic Aronis will tap for more mana next turn. Doing X = 2 means it's a 4/4. Comes with 1 food. You can draw me a card when it attacks him by sacrificing the food. This delicious treat. And since we have something that has a power of 4, Fanatic Aronis can tap for green, 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 green. And maybe we could get out Chasm next turn. And Galta. Both of them. I want both of them. They sacrificed the little guy. Is my goose obliterated? Okay. There is no goose. There's never been a goose. I'll go for the orgasm next turn. Okay, sacrificing the Garblin. Comes back with a -1/-1 counter on it. Orgasm. The 6/5. If it hits your face, I'm getting more creatures. Oh, sweet. Vaultborn Tyrant. I love the, like, power 4 more sub-theme. Where's, like, our Gore Claws? Give me Gore Claw. Rakdos the Muscle coming into play. That'll give them a very good blocker against Chasm, so I probably won't be swinging in. Unless I hit it with the Cityscape Leveler first to get them to tap it to make it indestructible, so I can swing with Orgasm and try to get something else really big. Which... yeah, that actually seems like a pretty good plan. It's like, I'd love to go for Helga, but like, we have Vaultborn Tyrant, which is kind of like more Helga. Cityscape Leveler! Pop it! Also, it's like a Cityscape Leveler. Are you going to hit my deck? Or yours? It's only until the end of turn, right? Oh, it's until your next end step. So it's until the end of my next turn. Swinging in with Chasm. If they block, it'll reduce the damage dealt. Lets me look a little less deep. And I'm looking for a green mana source for the land and any good creature otherwise. Okay, so green mana source, but not actually the one I want right now. And we can either do Tidebender or Solemn Simulacrum. Solemn Simulacrum for sure. Use that to grab a white source or maybe even more green sources since everything in my hand is green. And behold, Agulta. I love 2 mana 12/12s with trample. Also, these Feed the Swarms, they make you lose life based on mana value, so 12 mana, or 8 mana, or 5 mana, or 2, or 4. These 2 are the easiest ones to hit. Helga's like, I wish I was being played this game. Helga, sweetie, you would have died. Helga, remember that Infernal Grasp? That would have been going straight for your throat. What else did they get here? Forsaken Miner. Nice. Great repeatably sacrificable thing. Forsaken Miner with, like, Woe Strider and Pitiless Plunder, I think, is infinite in their deck. There's a couple different infinites you can build into Rakdos. Alright, they're eating Fanatic of Ronus. It can be brought back from the grave. They're down to 12 life, though. And we have big things. Very large creatures. This also can't block. She got benched for her own safety. Oh no. I wonder if this is gonna be a board wipe. Hi, Nick. They sacrifice the little dude. Rakdos finds Kami of Mourning. Okay. That's just another way to keep recurring creatures. Alright, so now they have a way to bring back the freebooter by sacrificing the Kami of Mourning. They're gonna dig 3 deeper into their deck. They found a Soldier's Edict and a Blood Artist. And they can play that Blood Artist this turn. Sacrificing, getting that Scry, getting another card out of their deck, and getting a Treasure. That'll give them 2 mana and a 3rd mana, which they can't really use on that many things. It's only for abilities for the most part. Abilities and artifact spells. Molten Collapse. Hey, that lets you kill a thing. A thing. They're going for Blood Artist. They're sacrificing Blood Artist. That will bring back the Greedy Freebooter. But I feel like there isn't anything they can get off just like the remaining mana they have. I don't know their deck as well as they do, though. Maybe they have like a Mox Amber. They're trying to find that to make the number of mana go up. Or maybe they just like game actions. Which, yeah, relatable. Sometimes it's just fun to like click the buttons. Ooh, Chthonian Nightmare. That's a fun one. Okay, is it go time? Start swinging in with these guys? Oh, wait! It's Reanimate! Bringing back the Kami of Morning and hitting... Future Goblin? Blood Artist? Okay, Blood Artist. They can sacrifice it. They bring back 2. I'm like trying to think. How deep does that go then? Because now they can sacrifice this pair again. Sacrificing this, bringing back this. Then they could use Rakdos technically to sacrifice Woe Strider, bring these back, but does that deal 9 damage? Gets them 2 more mana. I'm waiting for them to do the math here. I'm just sitting here with my big boys, like... What do I got? Dudes? Got 22 attacking power? Is that a lightning bolt? Oh, claim the firstborn! Oh, you could untap your Blood Artist. I have no babies. None of these are baby creatures. Alright, sacrificing the Blood Artist then brings back the Freebooter again. You can pay 1 to bring back the Miner. You have the mana. No? Okay. Toxic Deluge. They only have 1 mana, though. They can get a 2nd mana. I'm like, still wondering what they could get. Off the 2nd mana, Chthonian Nightmare? They could Chthonian Nightmare on the 2nd mana to bring back the Blood Artist. And then do this again. And I think that lets them get 2 more treasure. And I think that is lethal. Because I think this is now looping. Because it's not the hand, it's here. And they don't get finality counters. But they're running out of time. Yeah, I do think this is lethal. You pay 2, you get the energy, you bring back... Okay, so they're going for... Wait. Yeah, you have to sacrifice... I was thinking you sacrifice Rakdos. I don't actually think Rakdos is doing anything here. Because now you don't have a way to make more mana. If you sacrifice the Rakdos... Because, like, you don't actually need these cards, right? Nope. Okay, spacebar. We attack. Game. Cameo, Inquisitive Student. Unfortunately, they do go first, and they are likely to be an Oops All Counterspells deck, which nobody likes. Nobody likes playing against Oops All counter spells. And Tamio isn't the only Oops All counter spells commander to come out recently. Aluge from Bloomborough is also very Oops All counter spells. Though this one technically has green in its color identity, so you can play some other cards. Turn 1, though, I have some ramp. I wish it were a Delighted Halfling. I wish it could stop counter spells. It can't. But it can possibly get me Helga on turn 2. Or at least get Helga baiting a counter spell on turn 2. We accept this. Alright. We pay a life. We tap our stuff. Does she resolve? If she does, she might get turned into a frog. Which is weird, because she's already a frog. I feel like using things like Frogify against Helga, it should just do nothing. It should say non-frog creature. Alright, Disruption Protocol. Believe it or not, Helga didn't resolve. This is mind-blowing. You've never seen a spell get countered before by a Tamio. I might have a slight vendetta against this creature. A slight one. Shocking. Arcane Signet. You got some mana. And once she flips over, she's going to be reducing the power of some of our spells, which is always... ugh. That's alright. I've got some other fun things. Menagerie Curator. Does it resolve? Innkeeper's Talent. Innkeeper's Talent is another Bloomborough card. Buffs up Helga to potentially get her to make more mana, but also helps protect my permanents with counters on them, and eventually just makes more counters on stuff. It's also just good. A 2-mana spell that puts a +1/+1 counter on a creature each turn, that's good. And they know it. They're like, oh, yeah, we can't let that happen. If they want to, they could flip over Damio this turn. But it would require drawing some cards. Maybe sacrificing those clues you've been storing up. Or just casting Brainstorm. Menagerie Curator will be drawing me cards whenever I cast unique creature types. This is unique in this deck. There's only one construct, I believe. This is not. There's 2 gods. I'm running Nylea and Orchasm. And look, now they still have counterspell mana up. And I just heard thunder from outside. Is it about to rain? It's probably about to rain. It's like 95 degrees outside, too. It's ridiculously humid.
I'll aid you.
I'll take you to the library.
Think before you act.
That's a threat. I want you to understand that that's a threat. Orchasm. Does it resolve? Please let it resolve. Snapcaster, snapping back. Disruption Protocol, I guess? Yeah, Disruption Protocol. I haven't seen much Tamio gameplay. Is she any chill? She's like the opposite of chill. She's like on my top 10 list of why would they ever? And part of that is like, why would they ever make a 1-mana Planeswalker? Why would they ever make a 1-mana Planeswalker that's good? Why would they ever make a 1-mana Planeswalker that rewards you for playing a deck that is about 80% counter spells? Oh yeah, Washington Square. She is not my friend. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try Helga here. I have other druids in my deck. I don't actually think I have other frogs in my deck, though. Time to play a game of who's gonna resolve anyway? Yeah, because she has a +2 ability that negates damage. It's kind of like having a +4. At least on a board with 2 creatures on it. Glorious Gale. Tempted by the ring. Alright, I'm gonna play this Razor Verge Thicket. Don't get to attack in, because it would deal no damage. But next turn, I think I have 8 mana. And I have an on-cast ability from the Cityscape Leveler. And that on-cast ability, if it doesn't get Tails Ended, Whirlwind Denialed, or Stifled, hopefully should let me just destroy Tamio. Remember, they're doing this. They're going to draw half their deck next turn and still have a Planeswalker in play if I don't get rid of her. And she cost 1 mana. They've also managed to prevent all damage that I would be dealing to their face. Okay, Sun Petal Grew. Here comes the Cityscape Leveler. We don't have any other constructs in our deck. I am destroying Tamio. Does it resolve? Does it resolve? Does it? I hate 1 mana Planeswalkers! And she lives. She lives through this. Now at this point, they can cast however many counterspells they need to in a turn. Because what would stop them? What was that? That was her -7 ability. Draw cards equal to half the number of cards in your library rounded up. You have no maximum hand size. Oh, you're taking an extra turn. Great. You're gonna take another one after that? And then another one after that? Maybe even another one after that? Oh, it would be crazy if you took another extra turn after that. They're stopping me from escaping my Cityscape Leveler. I sound frustrated. Listen, I have some silver bullets against decks like these. Ways to try to pull ahead. And you know what they had? They had an answer. They had an answer. Tamio, I wish you would leave. Also, Wizards of Ghost, I wish you wouldn't print cards that are 1 mana Planeswalkers! At least Grist is cute and hard to flip. Tamio's just like, I'm going to enable myself. Look at me, I'm drawing 2 additional cards in a turn. Like a blue deck's never drawn 2 cards before. They're taking another extra turn, I'm out of here. Tamio, inquisitive student, and I'm very happy to say that I go first in this game, because it's a lot harder to fight a Tamio when they can land their 1 mana Planeswalker on turn 1. Now, she isn't a Planeswalker until they draw a 3rd card in a turn, but that is one of the easiest conditions that they have ever put on a Flipwalker. Like, why would they make a 1 mana Planeswalker that's good? The world will never know. Well, I have a creature that I can land here, the Menagerie Curator, and it might offer me some card draw, but it's not going to be very good at dealing damage once this Tamio flips, because that +2 ability is going to take away some of her power and make it into a little tiny guy. All my homies hate Tamio. If this Tamio wasn't Oops All Counterspells and didn't lean so well into Oops All Counterspells, it's also especially hard because it is a +2, getting a ton of loyalty that prevents damage from most going wide decks or just early creatures. Too bad. Hello there, Tamio. Are you considering frogifying my Menagerie Curator? Well, don't frogify Helga, because, like, she's already a frog. Alright, so they're using Eaten by Piranhas, so I can't tap this for mana. They don't know that I needed that in order to get blue mana. Not that, with the Reliquary Tower, I'd be able to play Helga in that turn anyway. I would have gone for Uro. Gwenna is going to help me out, though, getting me some mana. Maybe even untapping when we cast Uro! Gonna go blue, blue, tap. No, I want you to use one of the colorless for it. I want you to use one of the colorless auto-tapper. Well, they don't want to leave me with any colorless. I'm not gonna bother putting on full control mode, it's just too much of a hassle. At least this Tamio has some green. I mean, you'll sometimes see Uro and a few similar cards in Tamio decks. Wilderness Reclamation is pretty common. But yeah, it's still an Oops All Counterspells deck. Free Strider Lookout. Oh, that is unusual. So this is whenever you commit a crime. I'm trying to think what crime givers they've got in this deck. Or like which ones I would even put in the deck. Alright, blue-white. Prime time. Countering spell is a crime. Oh, that's true, because it targets one of your spells or abilities on the stack. Okay, so they're countering prime time. These are just filling up my graveyard for Uro. And here's Helga. I'm getting a lot of counterspell decks with this. That's true. I ran into Eluge and Tamio. As far as mono blue goes, there's a bunch of mono blue commanders that currently just have pretty generalized matchmaking. Like, they're not just matching up against Brawl, Golos, Ragavan, which is frustrating for us players out here just trying to have a good time. Just trying to pog and frog. Are you gonna frogify my frog? Turn her into a legitimate business druid? Fomori Vault. Okay. They have 5 artifacts, so they get a card. Stasis Field. Alright, so it is a Frogify effect. Helga has no abilities. For now. I am going to tap for 2 blue here. Actually, it doesn't matter because I won't be able to get that out of the graveyard. I will use the Castle Garenbrig. Green, green. We can kill one of these. Tamio costs so little mana. Either you humans... Well, okay, so normally this is a human. At this exact moment in time, Menagerie Curator is a skeleton. Skeleton. You got a Cyclonic Rift yet? You want to flip over Tamio? You have some mana. There's another 1-mana Planeswalker in this cycle, Grist. Grist does not self-enable. Grist also requires mana to flip. Grist requires another spell, or ability, or permanent in order to happen. Tamio does not. Grist also does not have, like, a plus ability that protects itself so obscenely well. It usually just makes a 1/1 bug. Sometimes the bug has Death Touch. It's a 1/1. How do I feel about Glarb? Oh, he's frogging. Glarb is the evil version of Helga. The dark Helga. Alright, so I have Kolga here, which means that I can destroy the stasis field. Is this Tamio banned in 1v1 Dual Commander? Sure is. Shouldn't surprise you. It's a ridiculous card. See what we draw. case it's something castable with our friend Helga here. Did I have lethal if I full swung in? Maybe? But I also don't trust like that. Alright. It is not something I'll be able to use right here, but maybe next turn. If I had swung in with the Llanowar Elf and the Menagerie Curator, it would have been 2 extra damage, so it wouldn't have been lethal. But if we'd used the Lair, potentially... I try to save the Lair as, like, last ditch. Tamio, why do you always attack people? What's the flavor of Tamio attacking? You think she just craves violence deep in her soul? Omori Vault. Oh, they're digging! If I don't show the lair, they might not notice. Well, she didn't defend herself or her dissertation. I guess we have lethal. Out of here, Tim Tam. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars. I hope you enjoyed the riveting gameplay of Helga Skittish Seer. She really can go off. In fact, the first game I played with her after I built this deck, she went off so hard, I had to add a reliquary tower to the deck because I was drawing so many cards off of Helga and all of the other big green spells in our deck that I was just overwhelmed with value. And sometimes you have like 10 cards in your hand, you're like, well, I don't want to discard these. So you add reliquary tower to your deck, even though you have spells that cost triple green. Because greed is good, and it's very fun. If you're looking for the deck list, it's in the description of the video. And if you'd like to suggest a commander from maybe Bloomborough or another recent set, Thunder Junction, Modern Horizons 3, please let me know in the comments below. I have a list of them that I pull from over on my stream when we're deciding who to brew as a commander. Also, please come over to my stream, twitch.tv/Amazonian. I stream almost every single day. It's my main channel, and it's where we have a lot of fun with decks you might not even see here. Like, I've actually already updated Chatterfang, but you might not see it on YouTube for a couple of days because I've got so many new commanders to brew with. Thank you so much for watching, and have a brawlful day.